That's what's up.
Nigga, why am I seeing the inside of your ear? Wale.
Wale,
Wale. Oh boy.
your peoples,
Oh boy.
your peoples. Ain't he from the same country as your parents or no?
Who? Wale?
Yeah, he African.
I don't think he's Sierra Leone. Let me look it up. Hold on.
He I think he's from Ghana or something. He had like a whole bunch of
Oh
names
no.
and shit.
Oh yeah, he gone. I'm
Huh?
Sierra Leone. He not with us. Oh no. No.
Okay. Well,
He not
your
with no.
kinfolk. That's your kinfolk.
I mean, I have Ghanaian in my family though. Don't get me wrong, but still.
Right. No doubt. That's your kinfolk, man. I'm saying let's give his discography some justice. Nobody seems to talk about him.
This discography breakdown is gonna be funny.
Well, it's definitely gonna be different.
Cause mine is Rick Ross. We never really talk. Well, mine is Rick Ross and that Rick Ross and Meek Mill. We never really talk about a lot of Maybach on this channel and
Because they
shit.
don't have nobody good on there. It's only Ross and Meek. I love Meek's first album, but I don't think he has anything that's fucking with his first album. You know what I'm
I don't even
saying?
like.
Wale? We gonna talk about Wale shit, but other than that, other than those two, I'm not a fan of Gunplay.
Oh
Stally,
God,
he left, so they don't
I
have
like
a
Styling.
huge roster, huh?
I forgot Styling was on Maybach for a
Yeah,
brief second.
and then he left. He left also. They don't have a huge roster. So who else are we talking about?
Styling. He
You know
had
what
that
I'm
one
saying?
song with Scarface I fuck with.
I like his stuff now is very different from MMG. That's what Wale need to do. He should have took a blueprint out of Stally's page and just leave the damn label. But that's a whole nother story. But that album he
Uh,
did with Apollo Brown was fire.
who? Styling.
Yeah, it's Blacklight.
Send that
That
shit
was
to
good.
me.
Yeah, that shit was banging. You know what I'm saying? So they don't have nobody other than Meek and Wale. Even like the compilation joints they stopped doing.
Yeah, I realized that shit.
Yeah, I got
And
I
and
got
and,
two
labels,
and three.
and
Huh?
labels really stopped really doing compilation joints. I remember when Pro Era came out with that Procopulate some shit. That was fire.
Mhm. Right.
Our future tape,
Yeah.
man. The 20 teens in hip hop. I'm not gonna hold it. 20
Yeah.
teens.
They got it
Yeah.
had 3 volumes. I got 2 and 3. The first one was the best one to me though. That one I never got, but Wale shined on those compilations. You know what I'm saying? But they don't have a huge roster. It was just
They
like
don't.
a compilation of like features. J. Cole was on that. Wiz Khalifa. You know,
Wasn't Rocco signed to Maybach too?
I think he was signed to, but again, like they didn't put him out.
Yeah, man. I
You
never
know
I
what I
never
mean?
really cared
So
for Rocco. The only Rocco I like is Rocco's Modern Life. That's the only Rocco I like.
I don't like none of them. So
Shout out to Ray Sean.
very good. Trey Songz was good.
What up, Q? You know what, y'all the main ones, man. So far, the main ones are here. Where the fuck Sam at? Mm. So this documentary I was watching last night, I mentioned to you. This is
Mm,
Quiet on the Set.
right.
This shit, this shit was wild as fuck. It's talking about all these child actors that gets molested by these
Um,
executives and shit like that. Like that Dan. You remember Dan Schneider, the dude from Head of the Class? And show
yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah, they were getting at his ass and shit. I want to definitely talk. I want to expose all these pedophiles in Hollywood and shit.
Oh boy.
Cause this oh
One of these Wale albums, he sampled a pedophile. So we're gonna talk about that.
I think I know which one you're talking about, but I'm gonna keep my mouth
Yeah,
shut.
the one
Oh yeah,
I can't
Q.
stand.
Oh yeah, Q. The Freaknik documentary. I'm definitely gonna talk about that
Oh
in two
yeah,
weeks.
that's coming out on streaming on was it
Thursday.
Friday, Thursday?
Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah,
I've
man.
been wanting to see that, so it's finally coming on streaming.
Might have some Vaseline next to me and shit. Let me stop.
Yeah,
Let me stop.
funny.
But I like when Uncle Lou called himself the king of Freaknik and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that's your legacy. That's your
They
legacy.
they need to put Michael Bivins' documentary on streaming and stop playing.
It is. It's on all black.
Yeah, I'm talking about real streaming, a real streaming app. Not
No,
one you gotta pay for with ghetto shit on there.
this nigga
You
said
know,
real street.
a real streaming platform.
I told you I can give you my fucking password and shit, but you acting too bougie and shit.
Man, I'm accustomed to seeing real shit. We're no longer in the days of bootlegging. Like I want to see a real app have our documentaries on there. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason why if Freaknik could be on Hulu, why not Michael Bivins' documentary?
Let me tell you, life is a bootleg, man. Everyone's finding easy ways just to get everything these days. Speaking
Nah,
of
that needs
that,
to be on a proper platform. You know, Tubi got a bunch of shit on there. Why they can't have it on there?
because Tubi's too busy supporting Chris Stokes, another pedophile. Damn,
Niggas got Nick Cannon on. Nick Cannon got a show on Tubi.
Well, Nick Cannon has to pay for all him kids though, so they'll give him a show for anything. Wow, this liquor's getting to me tonight. Shit, I'm talking a lot of shit. Anyway, Amanda Seales recently made some news. She feels like she's been blackballed from Black Hollywood and whatnot too. You know what I'm saying? And I actually like Amanda Seales, but not everyone likes the real and shit like that. If they want the real,
What she said? What she said?
She said she feels blackballed from Black Hollywood, pretty much.
She feel blackballed because she talking too much.
Hey, Amanda Seales is that girl. Let's not.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, she was good on. She did her thing on Insecure. You know, she's a rapper. She hasn't come out with a damn album. You know, but when you're going online and you're talking shit about Hollywood, what you expect?
Well, she's talented. That's the thing.
Start a podcast. You know, going on and talking shit about Hollywood. They don't want us in their line of work anyway. So she's not helping herself doing that.
Q said, yeah, Michael Bivins is talking about his old career with Boyz II Men and other. This is business mind state, you know. I feel like if y'all can praise Puffy, y'all can praise Biv.
I ain't never praised Puff. Y'all did that shit.
Well, I don't think they praise Puffy.
I was over here saying that Puff is a monster and you don't take care of his artists, and everybody wanted to praise the nigga. So you know what I'm saying? He got what he deserved right now. That's karma. They need to lock his ass up.
Also, next week we got 2 movie reviews next week. We're gonna do Mia Culpa. We're gonna do Purple Rain.
Oh yes. Reg bringing the heat for one. Something I like.
We also got some requests. Christian's request is gonna be next week too. I don't know. I'm not gonna call it a trash review because Try actually likes it. You know what I'm saying? So
it's a lopsided review.
It's a yeah.
You know what I mean?
First of all, I hate the title. I hate the title of the album, to be real with you.
Hey, I don't know if you could have got away with that title now.
Oh no.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh no.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to start in 5. Fuck this game. Q said, I can't wait for the Beanie Sigel discography breakdown. Tomorrow, Beanie Wednesday is going to be tomorrow.
Beanie Wednesday.
And we're also going to talk about the first 2 State Property albums after the Becoming album.
Beanie Wednesday.
Just to spicing it up a little bit. So can't nobody do it like us.
Right.
Yeah, we got some great shit coming up though. We got some great shit.
Yeah. Facts.
Yeah, because I'm over here getting ready for the Clash breakdown that we're going to do. I think around the summertime and shit.
Okay.
That's going to be interesting. And then I was thinking about getting into this other rapper's discography, but this is a rapper I really don't like. But at the same time, too.
There you go. Another one.
I was thinking about getting my honest thoughts, but I'm kind of leaning more on a no. I'm leaning more on a no. To be
do I care for them? Do I like them?
You like certain songs.
I like some of their stuff.
Yeah, some of his stuff. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's that? Wiz Khalifa? Gotta be him.
I'll put him on a private. I'll put on a private chat.
Yeah.
I'm kind of leaning more. Cause like I said, if I do it, it might be a discography breakdown instead of an artist Wednesday.
So good.
You saw it?
Yes.
But I'm leaning more to the no because there's more other.
He is overrated. He is overrated.
Yeah.
Definitely.
He is.
Definitely. I would never say that he's a legend. And I've seen him. I've seen him live too. He didn't even perform all his songs.
To me, Bow Wow's more of a legend than he is.
Right?
Oh yeah, congratulations to Dr. Dre. You got a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I know Snoop was there, Eminem, 50, DJ Quick was there, Harry O was there. I was like, oh shit. Of course, Jimmy Iovine was there too.
I didn't see it yet. It's online, but I didn't watch it yet. I saw shout out to Ready to Retro. I saw Ready to Retro was there during the ceremonies. Like he went live on Instagram.
Shout out.
When they were doing the ceremonies and shit. So shout out to him. I'm gonna be doing another live stream with him coming up soon. Cause he lives in Cali, so he's from out there.
Dope. All right, one more thing before we start. I'm going to drop a snippet of my next single I'm going to come out with next week called Come On Down. I'm going to drop a snippet this week, so y'all be on the lookout for that.
Right.
I'm going to drop the single first. I'm going to drop the video probably 2 weeks after the single. I want to build up the single a bit. Because these days, niggas just drop the video and the single on the same day. It's like, damn, I can't even listen to the single without the video. I was like, back in my day, motherfuckers waited a whole month before the video came out.
Yeah. I mean, if you was a pop star, they would drop the single like 2 or 3 months before the album come out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, these days they call it visuals. They don't call it music videos no more.
Yeah. You know.
I'm ready to start whenever you are.
Let's go.
What's up, YouTube? How's everyone doing this lovely, lovely, lovely day? It's your boy Reg in the building. You know what I'm saying? Loving to be here, loving this shit. You know, I got my homeboy Tribero, Gigolo, Tribero the gangster, light skinned gangster. You know, whatever he's going by today and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we have a discography. It's been a good minute since we've actually done a discography breakdown and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to look for an album anniversary we can do today, but I don't think any. You know any album that came out today?
Salt and Pepper, Black's Magic. I think that was today.
Oh really? Hold on.
Yeah, there was another album that we did a review on that was an anniversary today. I forgot.
Yeah, okay, March 19th. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Definitely want to kill some time before we get into this discography. So yeah, Salt and Peppers on Black's Magic. Let me pull up the album.
Let's see.
Actually, I got the album. Hold on, I got the album. Yeah. Sorry, my little ill prepared, but fuck it. So this album came out March 19th, 1990. We've recently done a review on all the albums last year. So if you guys want to check it out, you guys can. Those are probably some of the best reviews we've done last year, whatnot too. And this is actually my favorite album that they've ever came out with, in my opinion. And in terms of content, this might be them getting more serious. Some songs had like a more darker feeling in terms of content. You know what I'm saying? Because this is around the time the whole AIDS epidemic was really happening. And yeah, songs like, Let's Talk About Sex. You know what I'm saying? I Like to Party. That's literally one of my favorite Salt and Pepper songs they've done. Do You Want Me? Negro with an Ego, Expression, which that was actually the first song Salt ever wrote for the group too. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of Salt, you can definitely feel her influence more, her creative control more spinning with this album and whatnot too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I feel like when it comes to female rap, and I hate when I use this term female rap because I hate that shit. But when it comes to like female rap albums, this is an album I never really hear give its just due. Because when people say it's Talk Salt and Pepper, they mostly just stick to like maybe the debut album if you want to be on the more essential side, or they also talk about the very necessary album, which I love that album too. That's actually my second favorite album from them. But I do admit that's more mainstream, like the What a Man, the Shoot. And I love those songs though. Love those songs and whatnot too. You know what I'm saying? But artistically, I felt like Black's Magic was their magnum
Yep.
opus. And to this day, I feel like it's more heralded more in the hip hop circle. What do you have thought about the album, Try?
Love it. Love the album. I think that album doesn't get a lot of recognition, like Very Necessary, and the production on it, the lyrics, the songs was just great. Open and Dope and Independent Expression. The title track, and that was at a time when they were making the album. Pepper was pregnant with her
Right.
first son. So Spinderella stepped in and she did some rapping also, and it was dope. They definitely held it down without Pepper being featured a lot on that album, and to me that's one of their best albums. I love that one. I love Assault with a Deadly Pepper. Like I said, Very Necessary was like their most successful one, but that one is severely underrated, and that was great. Also today, the anniversary for Smooth the Hustler's album, Once Upon a Time in America. Yes. And an album that you don't like, Best of Both Worlds, the first one.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Now, it grew on me. It grew
Uh-huh.
on me a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because there was some song I can listen to, but it's not like oh my god, I have to listen to this album and whatnot
Right.
too. It's way better than Unfinished Business. Way better than that one. So,
Well, see, the hype was there already, just because of like the previous collabs they've done, the Fiesta remix, and Guilty Not Innocent, that joint from Dynasty album.
I never really cared for Fiesta like that.
I love the Fiesta remix. That was everywhere when that came out. You know what I'm saying? Jay was also on Rewrite, the track off for the Double R album, the R. Kelly double album, and so the hype was there. The problem was when everything happened in R. Kelly's personal life, it came out that same time. So they wasn't able to go on tour. They wasn't able to shoot no videos, and they couldn't. Def Jam couldn't promote it. But people that knew still went out and bought it. I remember I got my homeboy. He actually went out and bought it. So like we knew when it was coming out. It's just that it just came out at the wrong time when everything was going on with R. Kelly. But I love the album. I think there's a lot of bangers on there. You know, the production from Trackmaster is dope. You know, I think Megahertz was also had produced on that album too. You know what I'm saying? But they had joints on there. Body, Honey. You know, was it Green Light? That was the joint that R. Kelly had dissed Cisco on.
Yep.
Yeah, Green Light was fire. Some of those joints was on mixtapes before the album came out anyway. So like Green Light, I heard on like the Clue tapes. He had put that on there. You know, the radio was playing like Body. That was like supposed to be a single. You know what I'm saying? The was it Ain't Personal? That joint was fire too. So that album was fire. Just that if it didn't if it would have done great if that whole thing with R. Kelly never happened, or if it happened at a different time. But I think the album was dope.
Respect. All right, so back to the subject. All right, so today we're going to talk about Wale, discography breakdown. They try froze up a little bit. All right, so we've been kind of tempting this one to do for a good minute. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Mike? How you doing? We've been tempted to do this one for a good minute. Me and Try have both expressed our thoughts on Wale in the past. Felt like he was good, but once he went to Maybach, it can be kind of hit or miss. There he is. You know what I'm saying? So you good. So you know what we always do. How did you get into Wale?
Wale, I started seeing Wale in like the LRG ads when he was like a model for like LRG clothes, and I love LRG, still love them. They still doing their thing. I used to see him in like the ads for that, and then I can't remember what song I actually started. What got me into, but I remember like the mixtapes, like early Wale, like when he did like the Back to the Future mixtape, Ninth Wonder. That was like one of his early projects. That was fire. Love the Ninth Wonder production on that. The mixtape for it was More About Nothing. That joint was dope. And this is his like, you know, a love for Seinfeld, which is a show that I never watched, never cared to watch it. You know, I have friends that swear Seinfeld was like one of the best sitcoms ever. You know, I love the homage that he paid to Seinfeld, like you know, to be an African American rap artist and to do like a whole project around that sitcom. And Seinfeld, just for Seinfeld to even reach out to him and actually be on one of his projects, you know, based on the show was just dope to see. You know what I'm saying? And you know, the nostalgia was there, like just him paying homage to Seinfeld, and you know, that was a dope mixtape. And when I think he was signed to Rock Nation when Attention Deficit came out.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing about that, and you know, listening to that album, and that was fire. And then, you know, having like Lady Gaga on his first single from that album, and I was like a huge Lady Gaga fan when she came out with The Fame, and then she blew up. You know what I'm saying? And that was just dope to see. It was dope to see, you know, Lady Gaga and Wale do a feature together. And you know, I've been following his career ever since. Like any project that he put out at that time, you know what I'm saying? You know, the Falarin you know, mixtape and album, and you know, when he had gotten signed to MMG, I felt like it wasn't a good move, but I can see why he did it. You know, when we look at artists like Common, he was like underground, and then he signs with Kanye's Good Music, and I feel like that was a good move for him, even though I didn't feel like he needed it. But I felt like the way that his career was already headed, it was a good move, and he was already in Hollywood doing, you know, films and stuff, and That worked out for him. When you look at, Busta Rhymes sounding with Aftermath, even though that was for like one album, that was a good move for him. You know what I'm saying? After the Electro era. You know what I'm saying? At certain times, it's like when you have like an underground artist that come from like the backpack audience and they sign with a
Right.
major, it could go really bad or really good. I feel like this, even though I want to say like he had his biggest hits on MMG, but the overall quality of his music is not the same on MMG like it was when he was indie. You know what I'm saying? And for years, a lot of his fans has felt like that. And it came down to him like calling out different blogs and platforms because of that, because he feels like they don't respect his music, or he's not getting the recognition like
What's the put the
Kendrick and
music out?
like a Kendrick and J. Cole. But Kendrick and J. Cole have been consistent with anything that they've put out. You know what I'm saying? Wale has not done that. You know what I'm saying? And he's not the only one. There's other artists that I felt like I was a fan of them in the beginning, and they're just dropping crap. Wiz Khalifa, prime example. I love Wiz Khalifa's early shit. I love Drake's early shit. When you look at those artists now, with Drake is still as popular as ever, but his quality of music is not the same. Wiz Khalifa, same with him. I haven't liked a Wiz Khalifa album since Black Hollywood. That was what, 2011? You know what I'm saying? So the quality is going down. And in this case with Wale, I've seen it. It's a decline. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love indie Wale before MMG. On MMG, you have to live up to a certain type of image and standard for Rick Ross,
Right.
which is why he hasn't been successful on MMG. It's only really been Rick Ross and Meek Mill. They don't really have a large roster, and some of the people that was on there are gone. Stally left. I don't even know the situation with Gunplay. I was never a Gunplay fan. I remember seeing Gunplay on Love and Hip Hop. So that should tell people something. You know what I'm saying? So he had his biggest hits on MMG, but the quality of the projects on MMG is not the same. You know what I'm saying? And he took his music in a different direction. I don't know if it was for the best. Like I mean, like he did like some Afrobeat type of music. That is his roots, but I don't necessarily think that fits him. You know what I mean? And I just haven't enjoyed a Wale album in a long time. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of shit that came out from him that I just skipped over because it was just what I was hearing as far as singles wasn't good. You know what I'm saying? And this is a guy that people remember. This is a guy that was in the same class as J. Cole and Kendrick. He's done stuff with J. Cole. You know what I'm saying? He has many collabs with him. They've been on tour together. There were videos online with him and Cole on tour, and they were stopping at a diner and just freestyling at the diner while they're waiting to get their food. You know what I'm saying? Like he's always been a dope lyricist, but the quality of music has not been consistent from Wale, which is why he's like an afterthought to a lot of people. So I mean, if he feels like he calling out Complex or calling out Rolling Stone or whatever, he has himself to blame for that. Because the quality of music is not the same like it was in the early, I want to say like 2000s. Because again, you're on MMG. MMG is a certain standard that you have to live up to for a label like that. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't put out a attention deficit on MMG and expect it to sell. You know what I'm saying? Which is why he made the choice to sign to MMG, because you're looking for a different demographic and audience. And I don't think he's that type of artist where he can't consistently drop, you know, number one hit records. You know what I'm saying? So his caliber of lyricism is more fit for like Ruckus Records and you know
Ooh.
the underground scene. It's not really made for you know radio. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he has joints that made it to radio. But he's not. He had to. I feel like he had to really you know sacrifice his artistry to go that route. You know what I'm saying? And I've been saying for years he needs to leave MMG. You know what I'm saying I would like to see the old indie underground Wale again because he has it in him. You know what I'm saying? Like you tried you tried the mainstream thing, you tried the radio friendly joints. It's not for him. You know what I'm saying? His natural audience is the backpackers. And I don't even see Rick Ross promoting his shit anymore. Like, is he still on MMG?
I know he left Atlantic Records and shit.
Right. No, but I mean, is he directly still on Rick Ross's label? I don't see Rick Ross promoted Meek Mill shit more than he do Wale.
Puffy promotes Meek Mill shit.
You know what I'm saying? So if he's still on that label and his boss is not even promoting his shit, what does that tell you? You know what I mean? So I just, I think that was a horrible mistake for him to do. And I don't know. I just feel like a lot. He doesn't have a consistent discography. You know what I'm saying? He has some albums that are better than others, and then he has some shit that I was listening to like, yo, like what is this? What are you trying to do here? You know, everybody can't go the mainstream route. You know what I'm saying? So, he was in a super group. I don't know if anybody remembers, but they didn't come out with shit. He was in a collective called the All City Chess Club, and it was a collective that was started by Lupe Fiasco, and it had Wale was in it, B.O.B. Like the names in this collective, half of them were not even dropping shit. B.O.B. When was the last time B.O.B. even dropped anything good?
When you thought the Earth was flat.
You know what I mean? B.O.B. was in this. J. Cole is probably the biggest name in this. J. Cole and Lupe. You had the cool kids in this. You had Mickey Fax. You had Dosage. You had You had Asher. Huh?
I said ooh.
You had Asher Roth in this. Charles Hamilton.
Trash.
And like I said, the biggest name in this crew is J. Cole. Is the biggest name in this collective, and they never put out shit. They were supposed to come out with an album, and but nothing ever happened from it. He's also like he's also a wrestling fan as well. So he's been to like a lot of the WWE events. He's a sports head. I know he's a Redskins fan. He's from DC. He's a Redskins fan. That's his own team. I think he needs to go into that audience. Maybe do like a sports, podcast and mix it with wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Because there's an audience for that. I'm a part of the chats. Yeah, exactly. Because they actually played ball, so they know what they're talking about. They're good at that because they actually played ball in high school. You know what I'm saying? So, I could see Wale doing that. I think he'll be successful at it. There is an audience for that. I'm a part of different sports groups and group chats. Shout out to the wrestling junkies. Boogie, Nostalgic, Angel. We all love sports and wrestling, so there is an audience for that. But as far as his music, when was the last time that anybody was really anticipating a Wale album?
Always.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not the same. He don't have that anticipation like a Kendrick. Kendrick could drop tomorrow and everybody's gonna be all over it. J. Cole could drop tomorrow, everybody's gonna be all over it. If Wale drop an album tomorrow, nobody's gonna care. You know what I'm saying? And it's a shame because he's talented. You know what I'm saying? But again, I feel like he needs to be far away from Rick Ross and start over. Reboot your career and go back to the type of music that your audience used to love you for. That's just my opinion.
Well, damn, man.
I mean, it's all of that or modeling for LRG again. So I don't know.
All right. Well, I actually got into Wale just from that song "Chillin'." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
With Lady Gaga. I thought to myself, this was a interesting song because that was when Lady Gaga was just taking over the world with the Little Monsters and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And it's just the fact that him doing a song with Lady Gaga as like a first single because this is the first time I heard the motherfucker and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? So, and I said to myself, I heard the Attention album, which I'm going to get more into in a minute, and I said to myself, this is definitely a stepping stone to something bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to myself years later, I can be wrong in what I say. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to spoil my thoughts on Wale, but you kind of took the words out of my mouth with what you were saying and stuff like that too. Because I do feel like he's very inconsistent when it comes to his discography.
Mm-hmm.
And I've talked about a lot of rappers on this channel. I've talked about a lot of artists on this channel. You know what I'm saying? We've seen a trend. We've seen some artists who start off very strong, but then after their quote unquote peak, they get hit or miss after. We've seen rappers who kind of start off kind of weak. I want to say weak, but kind of mediocre-ish. But then each album, they get better and better. We've also seen overrated artists with trash-ass discographies that either me or you have said they were pretty trash. You know what I'm saying? And I want to talk about Ja Rule for a minute when I talk about the Wale because he's in the discography. This is a discography that I kind of feel I kind of compare it to Wale a little bit. And
oh my God,
hear me out because, and this is just based on my personal opinion. I know there's a lot of Ja fans out there, even though there's some fake Ja fans that can't name a song from him, but we'll talk about that a different day. Vidi Vidi Vici came out. I said this is a dope album. It was very raw and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? It's like I called when I first heard, I called it the little brother of DMX's Dark and Hell is Hot.
Right.
But I personally would not call that album a classic.
You're crazy.
I know. It's a damn good album. It's a damn good. Let me explain. Let me explain because I know there's a lot of hip hop heads that call it a classic album. You know what I'm saying? I love the album. It's a 4-mic album for me. It's definitely a 4-mic album. Because I feel like that was a stepping stone to what Ja was to become. Because when I hear Vidi Vidi Vici, it's like very gutter, very raw. Like that's when Murder Inc. was really just like rats in the cellar and stuff like that too. And compare that with like DMX's Dark and Hell is Hot. Well, the album is raw too. But the thing about that album was when the singles came out, DMX had them catchy ass choruses like Rough Riders and How It's Going Down. What's that one joint? X is Coming, one of my favorite DMX joints and stuff like that. And he was relatable as fuck. This nigga was praying on a record. Ja was just like he was doing all that kind of shit. So then Rule 336 happened. My favorite Ja Rule album, 4.5. That is what I would call a classic album. That is what I would call. But then there's some Ja fans that don't even say that's touching Vidi Vidi Vici. I say you're crazy. Like that was, to me, that's the perfect balance between the love of Ja Rule and the thug Ja Rule.
Right.
And the only album he succeeded in that. Because when Pain is Love came out, and I know a lot of Ja fans love this album, but I don't know, man. I feel it's decent at best. Yes, it had great songs. I love the songs,
Mhm.
but this was to me the beginning of the end because this is when the softer songs was really overtaking the thug songs, and that's my same testament to the last the last temptation, which I don't understand to this day how you give it a 5 mics. I don't understand how to this day because to me,
It's
I do not like
it's
that
one of my
album.
favorites. I think it was one of my favorites. It was just bangers on there, you
Uh,
know.
well, okay. And then we already know what happened. Him and everybody called him a Tupac wannabe. 50 and
Mhm.
Ja were going at it. So everyone was saying he was soft. So what did he do? He tries to do the Blood in My Eye album, which
Right.
this is an interesting album in his discography because while I do like the album, I say to myself, why did it take a beef to really spark your shit up? You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
let's compare that to LL Cool J's "Mama Said Knock You Out." Because people want to say, "Oh, LL, everyone was dissing LL." No, 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 it wasn't like that. He wanted to reclaim his throne. He got with Marley Marl. People were bashing the Walking with the Panther. That review is coming very soon. Um, so yeah, he had to let motherfuckers know who the fuck he was, and to me, that's his magnum opus. But see, that album was originally supposed to have been a mixtape. That's what people fail to realize. So that's why it sounds. Some people sounds it's inconsistent. Do I say it's better than Last Test Temptation and Pain is Love? Absolutely.
Oh
But
yeah.
would I call it a classic? No, I would not. But then to me, the fallout point happened when he came out with that album '04, the RULE, which that was when Murder Inc. was trying to soften up his image after the whole drug case and whatnot too. So I didn't care for that. But yeah, it's just that Wale is a very dope lyricist. And I know this intro is long as hell. I mean, we're gonna get into it, but we have to really we've been waiting years to talk about this. So
No, we
Wale
haven't.
is a dope lyricist. You said what?
I said no, we haven't.
Wale is a dope lyricist, but personally, the albums is just like the Maybach music, and like I said, Maybach music is like I put it in the same class as like Cash Money, Young Money, all that shit. Like you
Mhm.
said, it's like image over lyrics and shit like that
Right.
too. You know what I'm saying? And I hate using this term backpacker, but Wale really was a backpacker.
Mhm.
And let's jump right into the first album, Attention Deficit. Oh, let me share the album artwork too, because I want to be professional. uh, but yeah, this album right here, man. This album takes me back to like middle school, man. Like I remember when this shit was popping off. Um, I was about to graduate from middle school and shit like that, going to high school. Man,
Mhm.
this is just nostalgic right here. But this album came out
Mhm.
November 7th, 2009. Damn, I'm showing my age to y'all. Shit, okay. So yeah, so this one came out when he was on Aldo Records and stuff like that, which was under Interscope. This album, I'm not gonna hold you. I actually enjoyed this album a bit more than I did years ago. I feel like this is a very, very, very solid album. It does have some ish to it, you know what I'm saying? Which I'll get to that in a minute. But as sound wise, I feel like this is the most authentic Wale album to date, sound wise,
I agree.
because it definitely had a more jazzy DC kind of feel to it. You know, spoiler alert, this is my favorite album. I just the first song Triumph was very great. I love Mama Told Me. Pretty Girls, dare I say, might be one of my favorite Wale songs, period. I just love that chorus, that girl, you asked them to they smell. I
Right.
mean, yes, I love that sample too. That sample has been used by a lot of cats too. I mean, I know Sonic used that when they did their last album and shit like that, the Blood, Sweat, and Tears, which spoiler
Right.
alert, that's coming very soon too. I'm thinking about doing that when the unsung episode comes out, but I don't know yet. But excuse me. But yeah, chilling with Lady Gaga, that was a big song at that time too. but it does have some shit too. And yeah, you already know I don't like World Tour with Jasmine Sullivan like that. I definitely don't like Let It Loose with Pharrell. You already know. You already know.
Yeah,
Beautiful Bliss was cool. I feel like it was
yeah.
a bit too long though. You know what I'm saying though. But other than that, I mean, this is a 4 mic album. I feel like this was definitely a stepping stone. Definitely a
Right.
stepping stone. You know what I'm saying? Would I do a review on this album? If I do find it in stores, I would definitely talk about this album and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it's not a classic album. I'll say it's not a classic, but I feel like this album is definitely one of the strongest to come out from '09 because '09 as a year for hip hop was kind of all over the place. That's all I'm gonna say.
I
My
think it's
opinion.
definitely one of his best albums. It was jazzy. It was hip hop. It was a little bit R&B. It was a hodgepodge of different sounds, and I do feel like it's still his best album. I do agree. It's still his best album because this was like authentic Wale from the jump. You know, you listen to those early mixtapes. That's how he sounded, and he wasn't. There wasn't no pressure for him to be on radio or to make it to mainstream. You know what I'm saying? And you know, joints like Diary with Marsha and Brosis. I love that song. You know, Contemplate, or the single Chilling with Lady Gaga. You know, I love Pharrell, so Pharrell and him to me had a good collab. You know, this is his best album. I don't know if I would say 5 mics, but I would definitely give it, you know, 4.5 mics. And if you love indie underground Wale, backpacker Wale before the turn, before the you know you went to the dark side, this is the album for you.
This nigga said
It
the dark
is.
side. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Well, I mean that's how I look at an artist that want to change their sound to go mainstream. They went to the dark side. You know what I'm saying? And you know, he went from where I mean he still rocks like you know, semi regular shit. You know what I'm saying? But he's a sneakerhead also, you know what I'm saying? But it's like when you go from wearing LRG to wearing Gucci, it's like that's a major thing. That's a major jump. You know what I'm saying? So for people that love and appreciate, you know, underground Wale, this is the album for you. Everything
Right,
else after that is not underground Wale. We're going into MMG era Wale now. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So this to me is like his best album went before the turn and before he went to the dark side.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you about that. You know what I'm saying? I definitely agree with you about that because, and it's like usually when a rapper wants to go mainstream, they will at least have 2 albums. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like 2 albums where it's like, okay, you getting a little radio play, but then that third album is when they just really blow the shit off the temple. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Well, not like mainstream, but successful. You know, Jay-Z,
Right.
of course, he had it with Volume 2. Um, I would say Scarface with the Diary. You know, just in terms of like critical reception and just commercial, even though the
Mhm.
first 2 were still commercially successful in their own way and whatnot too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, but it was just like it was abrupt and stuff like that. It was like no, how can I put this? It was like no transition. It was just like, oh yeah,
Right.
I'm in Maybach. Yeah, I'm in Maybach right now. So
Yeah.
right. So give me 1 second. So we're gonna talk about his second album, Maybach Music. All right. So I have a story, right? I have a story to tell y'all. So I want to do another comparison because I want to bring Nas into this equation. So when it comes to like a certain people, I've heard people say a lot of times that It Was Written was a much better album than Illmatic. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a recent conversation I was here when I was on some YouTube with Soul and Stereo. Shout out to Soul and Stereo, by the way. And he was talking about how he personally feels that, and this is his opinion, that he loves It Was Written, but he feels like that's Nas's most overrated album.
I
And the
disagree.
reason why he said that,
Mm,
the reason why he said was because like a lot of rappers, they say that they grew up on this album. Like a lot of rappers, like the Drakes and the Royce the 5 9s and the whole image of the album. People try to emulate that mafioso style because he did not diss the
right.
album in itself. You know what I'm saying? He was just talking about how the image and the conception of the album, because the whole mafioso style was just like popping off. And I've heard many people, say that comparing Illmatic to It Was Written, it was not really like it was an abrupt transition because It Was Written was like street as fuck. I mean, excuse me,
Right.
Illmatic was street as fuck, but It Was Written was just more. It was street, but it was like more glossy and polished in its
Yeah.
own right. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of what I feel like when it comes to the Ambition album right here too, because because he had already came out with a couple mixtapes, the More About Nothing mixtape. He came out with that, and he pretty much, that mixtape was talking about how he wants mainstream attention and everything like that too. So it wasn't until the Super Bowl 2011, what I'm saying. I want to say that was Super Bowl 50 Super Bowl 55, the 50th Super Bowl, where he announced that he signed to Maybach Music. And once I heard that, I said to myself, no, no,
Right.
no.
Said the same thing.
Yeah. I was like, I had to pull out my Amy Winehouse. Amy Winehouse. No, no, no. You know what I'm saying? So I said to myself, this is not good. This is not good at all. You know what I'm saying? So this album came out November 1st, 2011. You know what I'm saying? A day before my birthday, just letting y'all know that. And okay. Let me be honest. Re-listening to this album now, I don't dislike it. This is probably the only Wale album I'll probably say I don't dislike it as much as I did back in the day, because there were actually some good shit re-listening to
Mm,
this. Because I remember listening to Lotus Flower Bomb, and I love that record.
that was
Now,
everywhere. Yeah,
Miguel, man, let me tell you something. Miguel is one of the best of this time.
I
We
agree.
have to talk about Miguel
I
one
agree.
day. Like, we have to talk
Yeah,
about Miguel shit.
definitely.
And yeah, Lotus Flower Bomb was everywhere. I even like Miami Nights was pretty cool. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Sabotage with Lloyd was pretty cool too. You know what I'm saying? Ambition with Meek and Rick, that was okay. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so this is like his It Was Written. You know what I'm saying? Because of the image.
Right.
Like it definitely had a more mafioso feel to it, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like a tug of war with Backpack Wale and Maybach Wale. And this is
Mhm.
probably his this is like it's balanced. It's his most balanced album.
Right.
I know it's a lot of shit going on with this one, but like I said, if I had to really get my shit together, but I'll give this to 4 mics too. I'll give it 4 mics.
This is the only album on Maybach that I played the most, because I did feel like it was a good album. He had bigger features. Having Kid Cudi on Focus, that was like one of my favorites. Having Miguel on Lotus Flower Bomb, and Big Sean and Slight Work. And you know how much I don't care for Big Sean, but
Oh
Slight Work
gosh.
was a big hit for Wale at that time. You know, Double M Genius was dope. Miami Nights. The only issue I have with this album is it sounds too much like a Rick Ross album. The beats on there sounds like Rick Ross and picked the beats and told Wale rhyme on this. You know what I'm saying? That's the only issue I have with the album. The album is dope. I do feel like it's a full mic album. His debut on MMG is definitely a different sound from Attention Deficit, but I feel like Rick Ross was heavily influenced on this with this album.
I
You know what I'm
agree.
saying? And when you get to like his latter stuff, there's less Rick Ross influence on it. I don't mean it was great, but you hear the less influence when it comes to the beat choosing with the different songs. But I'm gonna give it 4 mics. I think it was a good album, and I played it often, even though I never bought it. But this was like around the iPod era, so I had this album on my iPod a lot, and it's definitely a solid album.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you about that. I actually enjoyed this a lot more recently than I did back in the day too. So
Yeah,
interesting. I won't say that about the other albums though. Just let me be real with you.
a lot of people love the Gifted in here.
We'll talk. Let's talk about the Gifted. So this is his third album that came out June 25th, 2013. Same day Michael Jackson died. 4 years after. You know what I'm saying? I always have to say that. And if I'm not mistaken, hold on. No, yeah. I'm sure. Okay. So yeah, so The Gifted came out, and he had already begun working on this album right after, releasing the Ambition album and whatnot too. And you can kind of tell because it does have like a similar sound towards it.
right.
And it definitely was him experimenting more with like soulful music and shit like that too. Because Lotus Flower Bomb was such a big hit and shit like that for him that he wanted to tackle more into that sound. And okay, this one this was all over the place. You know what I'm saying? It has a bit more filler on this album, to be real with you, than great songs. Because I like Bad was okay. I like that one.
That was a big hit for him.
Yeah. Sunshine was cool. You know, this was around the time when a lot of rappers was just having compilation albums with hella this is that Maybach formula. It's like hella guest appearances. And you guys know how much I feel about certain songs like that. You know what I'm saying? Clappers, I cannot stand that song with Nicki and Juicy J. You know what I'm saying? That was when Juicy J was really just blowing up. And I mean, that's still Tripping album. I think it came out that year, if I'm not mistaken, which I want to talk about that album one day. You know what I'm saying? I want to talk about that one. Because that's another interesting album. But I gotta give this I gotta give it 3 mics, man. This is not really that good. I'll be real. It's passable because of the production.
Yeah, I agree. I liked some songs, like you said. It was a lot of features on here. Heaven's Afternoon with Meek Mill. That was pretty dope. Bad was everywhere. That was like a huge. Then he did the remix with Rihanna. She was on the remix for that. The remix is also on the album as well. So that was like probably the biggest record off of this album. The Gullible joint with CeeLo, I like that one. That was good. I like Clappers. I think Clappers was a single also. Sunshine was dope, but it wasn't. There was a couple skippable joints for me on here. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't like, Ambition, where it was like maybe almost every track on Ambition was just dope. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna give this 3 mics as well. About people love it. People love this. They prefer this album over Ambition, but I don't think it was as consistent as the track on Ambition.
Yeah, I don't. As much of a big Wale critic as I am, I would not put this over Ambition in any way possible.
Yeah,
and I respect people's opinion, but I'm just like Ambition. You still kind of technically had the classic Wale, the authentic Wale. It's just a tug of war. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Q Bad did get overplayed a lot at that time.
It did.
You know what I'm saying? All right. Now, let me stop. That was just my imitation of the whole Seinfeld bass line and shit. In case y'all don't, some black people don't watch Seinfeld. So this album, the album about nothing. This was March 31st, 2015. Ironically, this same year I actually got into Seinfeld. That's crazy
Wow.
as hell. But it
Yeah.
wasn't by Wale. It wasn't by Wale. It was just because I was just bored, and I was just like, I randomly just want to watch Seinfeld, and it took me a good 3 great episodes. I was like, okay, this is I can see why people say it, but that's another story for a different day. You know what I'm saying? I think I might do a solo review on it because nobody really cares for that. I don't think you Mike cares for that show either, or some shit. But so pretty much again, he announced that he was working on his 4th album right after the 3rd album. One thing I can say about Wale, his worth ethic is pretty great though. You know what I'm saying? So
You got to eat for
he
effort, but
he does.
you got to be consistent with that though.
You're right. That's the
Yeah.
thing. So he pretty much talked about how Jerry Seinfeld spoke about, how he wanted to collaborate with him and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? So he pretty much, of course, he did the mixtape about nothing, which, like I said, I know a lot of people are expecting me to talk about mixtapes. I really don't do like a lot of mixtapes when it comes to the whole discography
We-
breakdowns and stuff like that
You,
too.
you know what? We can do it on my channel.
Yeah, on Try's channel.
Yeah, we could do that.
That might be a good idea. That
Yeah.
might be a good idea. Shit, mixtapes on your channels and shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if we do that, I would definitely want to do like the 50 Cent mixtapes and shit. And
Right. So the classic mixtape, not just any old bullshit that came out. No, we doing classic mixtapes.
classic
Classics.
mixtape.
Yeah.
Weezy
Shit that changed the whole shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Now, granted, some mixtapes I'll possibly do talk about on my channel, like personally, like maybe like some Weezy mixtapes, some 50, but majority mixtape we can do that. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it because I like this shit. But anyway, you see how we always bounce off ideas and shit, y'all. That's how we always do that shit, But anyway, so so when this album came out in 2015, one thing I can say about this album was the fact that I liked it slightly better than The Gifted. Be real with you. The concept was pretty good. Yeah, the concept was pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I do feel like there was some trust. You do have authentic Wale, but it's like this. You ever had that one artist that just went so pop that when they want to recapture that same style, it's good, but it's still not touching the original formula?
Right.
That's kind of what I think about this album. You know what I'm saying? And I know I'm being a big critic right now, but I just have to say, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's a very interesting album. You know what I'm saying? Very interesting album. I can honestly say, conceptually, if this was his second album, this might have been his classic, in my opinion. If this was his second album, it would have been a bold ass. That's the thing right here, because Wale was so backpack. He was so different when it came out with Ambition. Like, if this really was his second album, this really would have been his hip hop classic. But the timing was just wrong. No, not throwing those shots at Ambition, because Ambition as a sophomore album was still very solid, but it's just that I don't know. It's just it was good. It was just like it was good, but wasn't great. But let me just talk about some of the songs, because I'm over here rambling and shit. So I did like Helium Balloon. That was pretty good. White Shoes was dope too. You know what I'm saying? The Glass Egg was okay. I Hate Body with Jeremiah. I never liked Jeremiah. Never liked his whiny ass voice. I never that was an artist I'm glad kind of did. I'm kind of glad that it's not as popular now and shit like that, because if I hear Birthday Sex one more fucking time, I'm just like, okay. But other than that, I'm gonna give this album a 3.2 out of 5.
I think this album should have been released earlier. Like this really could have been his second album or the third one after Ambition. because people like they remember the mixtape he came out with, and you know, I think it was definitely a solid album. And he's done 3 big hits with Jeremiah. They should have released a EP or an album together at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's kind of like too late now to do it, but I feel like at that point he should have did an album with him because he did That Way, which was on the was it I think was it the first self-made album compilation. He did On Chill, and he did Body with him. I'm like, you have 3 solidified bangers with this artist. He should have did a whole side project with him. That's a whole different story. I love Matrimony. I was a single with Usher. I did, Need to Know with SZA. That was a banger. The Bloom with Stokely. There's a video for that as well. One of my favorites on there. Love the beat for that and the horns on that. White Shoes. White Shoes is like a prime example of Wale struggling to be both mainstream and underground. You know what I'm saying? Because it has a message, a powerful message. There's a video for that, and with the video is like him. It's like him talking about like trying to afford expensive sneakers like Jordans, and you have like a guy that's a kid that's like has a 9 to 5, and he's like sweeping up the store, but his kicks are like beat up. He has like dirty beat up white kicks, and he can't afford like the new Jordans. And Wale's character in the video where he's working at a sneaker store, and he sees the kid come in with a couple of dollars, and he gives the kid like some new pair of Jordans, right? And he's talking about how people are willing to die for their sneakers. Like the lines he said, these niggas love white shoes so much they be buried in them. That shit
Right.
really goes on. Like people standing on line for the newest pair of kicks, and they getting killed for them. You know what I'm saying? And I love the message in that song, and I think that was one of the best songs on this project. And again, like I like the fact that he paid homage to Seinfeld and one of his favorite shows, and the fact that Seinfeld was gracious enough to even be a part of that. And then you got like little clips from the show, like on the tracks, and I thought it was great. I'm giving this 4 mics. My only issue is I think it should have been released earlier. Like if he had announced that he was signing with MMG and then you released this as a first album, because people already they were already in love with the More About Nothing mixtape. So it's like if you released this,
exactly,
that would have been. I think it would have been bigger. You know what I'm saying? But it was released later, and I think that's why it didn't do as well like it should have. But I think it's a strong, album, and probably like after Ambition, I would say probably his best album. After that on MMG.
You know what? This might be a review coming up. I might put this on the list.
Okay.
Because this album always pissed me off.
Right.
Really, just because of the timing and shit like that. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn it, Wale.
Yeah.
That's the album that pissed me off the most.
And he had like at least 5-6 singles from this album.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not like they didn't promote it. They promoted it. It's just that it wasn't successful because I feel like it should have been released earlier. It was released way later on after people done forgot about the mixtape. I'm like, why not release this right after the mixtape come out?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And so I just felt like, for an album to have like 5-6 singles and it wasn't high on the charts or anything, and you know what I mean? So it was just not a good rollout, but I think the album's fire.
Yeah. So, oh boy, this album, Shine. So this album came out April 28th, 2017 on his label, on the Maybach, on the Atlantic. 360 deal. Interesting. Hmm. Yeah, I didn't care for this one right here. To be real with you, this is around the time he was just going off on
Yeah.
Atlantic. This is the last album he was on Atlantic Records, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
Yeah, but this one I did not care for one
Yeah.
bit. Too mainstream. You know what I'm saying? First of all, the album cover is just like it reminds me of some artwork you would do as an elementary school and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? But it has no imagination. Like
Yeah.
what I'm you're holding the earth. Okay, big whoop. All right. Anyway, songs like what's the song? My Love, Scarface, Rose, Gotti. I didn't care for Heaven on Earth with Chris Brown, like PYT. I only like the beat because, of course, it samples Michael Jackson, but this is definitely a two mic album.
I didn't like it. I don't like the album cover. I didn't
Yeah.
like none of the songs that was on it. I'm giving it 0 mics. I think it's one of his worst albums.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We're getting into that. We're getting into that Wale age, and we're just like, yep. Oh boy. And mind you, this is when he left Maybach. It's just like that.
Oh,
Now
so
we're
he
going to
did
get
leave.
to.
So
No, 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 not
so he
Maybach. No,
officially left.
he no, I mean, I'm my fault. He's still on Maybach with this one. My man left
Mm,
Atlantic. So,
right.
so now he came out with a song called album called Wow That's Crazy. Now his main distributor is Warner Brothers Records, Warner Brothers and whatnot too, you know what I'm saying? So he dropped a 4-track EP called It's Complicated in 2018, which I remember when that shit came out too. I didn't really care for that EP to be real with you. You know what I'm saying? This album was not that good either. I'll be real with you. It was not that good. It was just the same old, same old. You know, it still managed to give him a gold plaque. You know what I'm saying? I don't really like anything from this album, so I gotta give it 1 mic.
Okay. There's some good tracks. There's some whack tracks on here. Again, it's a struggle with this artist because he is struggling with mainstream and underground, and you can hear it on these type of albums. So a song like On Chill with Jeremiah, another big hit record from this album film. That was a mainstream song. You had Sue Me with Kelly Price. Same thing with that. Bryson Tiller on Love Her Fault. I actually like that song. He sampled the not that one. On Chill he sampled Raphael Sadiq Asking You. I like the song. I don't like the singer. I never felt like Jeremiah could sing. Um, the joint with Bryson Tiller was cool. I fuck with Bryson Tiller. Again, that's a mainstream joint. You had Cliche with Abby Lennox and Boogie. So he was definitely going for radio play on this. There's some other joints, Debbie and Black Money, that was cool, but some songs on here was whack, like Pole Dancer, didn't like that. Love and Loyalty, didn't like that. And it seemed like Wale has made it a thing to try and do love songs now more than anything. You know what I'm saying? And it's not working for him. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain artists that can do that. Like Drake can do that. LL Cool J can do that. I don't look at Wale and be like, yo, like he can do love songs. Like you do it a couple times is one thing, but it's like he's going out of his way now to do that. And I think that's another reason why his music is falling off. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like he did that too much on this album. And a lot of the love songs just sounded like crap. But I'm gonna give it 3 mics. I don't think it was totally bad, but it wasn't totally good either. There's some skippable tracks on it.
Right. All right. And the last album, Following 2. Push it up. This album came out October 22nd, 2021. You know what I'm saying? Didn't care for this one either. Yeah, at this point, at this point, I just checked out of Wale and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, good.
Oh, he had a song with Sean Stockman from Boys to Men, "Come More Love." That was all right. Dearly Beloved with Jamie Foxx was cool. But it's
We we
I'm not.
we gotta talk about Poke It Out. We gotta talk about that. But that was a failed attempt at trying to recreate Vibrant Thing.
Oh
You're not
God.
Q-Tip. You're not Q-Tip. Q-Tip at that point could have did that. He's not on Q-Tip's level to even try to do a rendition of Vibrant Thing. That was bad. And the fucked up thing about it is J. Cole is on that with him.
I'm like, why,
You know what I'm
Jay?
saying? Why?
Why, Jermaine?
Because that's his boy. Like he's collaborated with them more than once. But the best part of that was J. Cole's verse. That was the best part of that song. You know, he said, I think we should dip like the Cameron era. I think we should step like a landmine, like a landmine here. But his verse was fire. But the song itself, to sample Vibrant Thing and try to rhyme over that same beat, and then you had Cool and Dre recreated. They're overrated. That's another pair of overrated producers. Never cared for Cool and Dre. I think they've had the same sound for years. They haven't, their music, their sound hasn't evolved. You know what I'm saying? That's Q-Tip should have sued him for that shit. That shit was bad. You know, there's a video for that, and even with the video, they try to recreate the video too. You know what I'm saying?
That's just lazy.
Yeah, that was bad. I don't know who gave him that idea to recreate Vibrant Thing, but that was bad. You got the Chris Brown song "Angles" and samples "I Need a Girl" Part 1 from your beloved sexual abuser. You know, I like the Chris Brown song. It was cool. You know what I'm saying? But Chris Brown at this point could sound good on anything. You know, New Balances was dope, but it's not a great album. And I think the first Phenomenal was better. The mixtape was better than this. So I'm gonna give it 2 mics.
And there you have it, folks. Man, this is funny. This is funny. So as a whole, Wale is just has an inconsistent discography. I would definitely recommend the first 2 albums. I would definitely recommend Album About Nothing.
I like that one.
I would recommend that one too.
That was just shining in the right spot. That and Ambition and Gifted was cool. Like those 3, I would say, from the MMG era, you check out and skip everything else.
Right. Mm.
You know, the mixtapes a different story. Like his mixtapes, again, I said it many times. A lot of these artists, their mixtapes were better. How many times I said that about Fabulous? His mixtapes were better than his albums. You know, Wale, same with him. His mixtapes were better than his albums. You know, I don't know. It's like it's a recurring theme for a lot of them because they started out so hot with the mixtapes, and then when it's time to do an album, they fall. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen it happen too many times with a lot of these artists, especially from the 2000s.
Right.
You know, Joe Budden, he's another one. Joe Budden had great mixtapes. His albums were trash.
A lot of the times, because mixtapes, they have more creative freedom on that. But then when it comes to the album, they have to go through like sample clearance issues and all that shit too. But sometimes I'm not gonna hold you. Some of the motherfuckers kind of use that shit as clout because of the fact that you can still, for artists with a high caliber and shit like that too, they can still do what they want on an album. Because even if you can't like really get all the creative freedom you want on the album, at least still put in 100% effort you put on the album, and while you putting it on the mixtape and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen more motherfuckers promote more mixtapes than they do their whole album.
And
But you know
albums,
me,
right? Jada Kiss.
albums matters. Right, right.
Yep. You know. Yeah, Jada, I'm throwing Jada in that too. I love Jada's a great lyricist, but his albums are not great. And people need to stop lying to themselves and acting like, oh, well, he's such a great lyricist that his albums were just as great. They wasn't. His mixtapes were way better. You know, I still
It's
don't feel
only
like he has any album that's a classic. You know, his best album was his first solo album, but it's not top tier with the best classics ever. You know what I'm saying? His mixtapes were better, and that was the problem with a lot of them in the 2000s when they dropping a mixtape one week and then the next week is an album, and they more focused on promoting their mixtape.
exactly.
So, whose fault is that?
Or sometimes they want to do some albums as like a contract obligation and shit. And they be like, oh, we don't really care about this album. At the same time, too, your fans want to hear a great album from you. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because anybody can drop with a good mixtape, honestly.
Right. Right.
Especially at that time, too, in the 2000s when a lot of the mixtapes, they were just rapping over popular songs, too, especially with the Wheezies
Mhm.
and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So
Mac Miller didn't
I
have
feel
a
like with
problem.
Lil Wayne, huh?
You know, Mac Miller didn't have a problem. He dropped the mixtape. It was fire. When it was album time, he dropped a fire album.
Mac Miller, when it came to his mixtapes, he definitely treated them like full blown project. That's one thing I always suspect about Mac and shit
Right.
like that too. I wish I really would have appreciated him more when he was alive, though. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But
You
we
got
definitely
time
got,
now.
yeah, we definitely going to definitely do more Mac Miller reviews in the future. Who was another artist? Jeezy, Young Jeezy, another guy.
Mhm.
Just, I know you're not a Jeezy fan. I know that.
Right.
Jeezy's first three albums to me, personal. I know his first album is the more classic out of the three, but I kind of call his first three, even this first three, personal classics. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
after the recession, I've noticed a decline when it came to his albums. But then when it came to like the mixtapes, it was like he was more and more mixtapes and shit like that too,
Right.
and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like one artist I feel like there's another one that dropped dope mixtapes, J. Cole.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Friday Night Lights,
Yeah,
his best mixtape ever. I don't
definitely.
give a
I
on that.
love that and the warm up
Warm Up was
classics.
good too. Yeah. Um, who else? Who else? Who else?
Kendrick.
Overly dedicated. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Overly
definitely.
dedicated. Yeah, man. Honestly, I even like them old Bad Boy mixtapes back in the day too. The even the Ron G mixtapes. I love those
Yeah,
ones.
yeah.
There was another artist too that dropped dope mixtapes, but his albums was kind of hit or miss. I'm trying
hmm
to think. Oh, fuck. What's his name? Lupe. No, not Lupe. Papoose.
That proves. Oh yeah, definitely.
That's an artist right there.
Yeah,
He had such a big hype when he was with K Slay, but then when he dropped that album, which was the
mhm,
American Dream backwards, I did not
yeah,
like that. It was 6 years too late.
yeah,
6 years too late.
yeah,
We have to do a review on that album one day.
yeah. For sure. Um,
Yeah,
there's,
man.
there's so many that artists that were great with the mixtapes and they never dropped a damn album. Jay Mills, remember him?
Oh, yeah, I remember him.
Jay Mills dropping mixtapes like crazy. Where's his album? You know what I'm saying?
You know what's one? To me, one of the best mixtapes is
Uh,
Nas's The Nigga Tape back in '08.
the nigga tape that was fire.
One of the best
Yeah,
mixtapes ever.
that was dope. Definitely.
Ever.
You know what I mean?
You know what? We have to talk about
Mm,
that one just to complete the Nas
yeah,
collection.
yeah.
Because if we
That'd
can
be
talk
dope.
about the Firm album, we can talk about that album and shit. Or that mixtape.
Mm. Yeah, for sure. You know.
Yeah, man. Even though there's some songs that we did talk about and shit like
Yeah,
that too, but
yeah,
there was some other songs that I want to give a shout out to. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like "Be a Nigga Too." That was one of my favorite joints.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, 50 and Lil Wayne, they were like the leaders when it came to that mixtape shit.
Yeah, for sure.
But let me ask you, what you think of Sierra though?
Sexy woman. She's gorgeous. I never cared for her singing though. I think
So you never,
they looked at her like the next Janet Jackson, and I'm like, she's not Janet Jackson. No, no way. She don't have the songs like Janet. But she did her thing.
fuck.
You know what I'm saying? Like Russell Wilson is a
Right.
lucky man. Like she's gorgeous, man. She's a gorgeous woman.
Mm. To this day, Future is still playing airboxing to this day.
Oh man.
That's another artist who dropped his mix. To me, his mixtapes to me and his album, they kind of sound similar as fuck. I'm not gonna hold you.
Right.
I never really was a big Future fan. The only album I liked from him is Dirty Sprite 2.
Never cared for him.
Yeah.
There's like
People were
one
trying to call.
song. There's one collab I like with Future and Maroon 5. That was it.
Baby, let's go have rich sex.
Oh man.
I'm gonna stay on for about 7 more minutes till 10 o'clock. But yeah, man, this whole mixtape idea, I want to definitely do this shit though.
Yeah.
If you want to,
Yep.
that could be like the after party or some shit. I don't know how we
Right.
can do it.
Right. Sure.
But yeah, man. I definitely put Wale in the same inconsistent discographies, like with Fat Joe.
Mhm. Fat Joe. Fat Joe fell off like after the '90s to me though. Like even though he made his biggest records, but the albums was not good.
Right.
You
Hell,
know.
I even hear people say Don Cartagena is more of a big pun album and shit.
Yeah, well Pun wrote like his lyrics for that album. So
Fat.
he had help. You could tell he had help on that album.
Yeah, man. I want. Yeah, there's a lot of 2000s artists I want to talk about. Remy Ma.
Hey,
Shit.
I mean, mom.
Oh shit! Look what I found.
Oh man, that's dope.
Yeah. Underrated album.
I never heard that one.
Yeah, that came out in
Okay.
'96.
Yeah,
That's on Fast Love. I was like, okay, George.
that's
You know what?
during the time when he was playing himself in the bathroom.
That was 2 years before.
Oh, 2 years before.
Yeah.
Man,
I definitely want to talk about the Listen Without Prejudice one day.
yeah, that was dope too.
I might get some flack, but that's actually my favorite album he came out with.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people love it.
Yeah, I love Faith. Don't get me wrong. Faith is a
Right.
vibe and stuff like that. But as an artistically, I have to say Volume 1 was like his magnum opus. That's everything
Yeah.
from like Praying Time, that
Mhm.
Stevie Wonder cover he did, and stuff
Yeah.
like that too. You know what I'm saying? I really wish he would have came out with that Volume 2, but fucking that label issue kind of fucked up his process and shit. Cause
So was it ever done?
I think it was done. I think.
Right.
Well, it was scrapped. It was actually scrapped.
It was
But
scrapped.
there were 3 songs that he contributed for the Red Hot and Dance charity project that came out in '92, and I think there's also
Okay.
tracks on the internet too.
Wow.
So maybe if I can find the album, because you know
Yeah.
how I can do, you know me.
Right. Like I'm saying, like if it was ever completed, I'm pretty sure the record label got it somewhere.
Right.
Somebody has it. You know.
Let me look it up. Hold on. Oh, hold up. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What is this? Oh no, hold up. Hold up. Is this what I think it is? I'll send you. I'm gonna send you something on Instagram. I think this might be it.
Okay.
Oh no, no, no. I'm not gonna do that. Don't copyright me. Uh, okay, I'm reading the comments right now. They say, okay, people saying it's a real album. Okay, I'm gonna send it to you. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, man. That Listen Without Prejudice album, man. I'm telling you, one
good.
of his best.
Mm-hmm.
1990 was a good year for pop music too. To be real.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Now let me ask you this: Madonna's erotica or Madonna's bedtime stories?
Bedtime Stories. It's one of my favorites. You
That
know,
used to be my favorite Madonna album. I gotta go with erotica these days.
Erotica was dope too. I like Erotica. I think the book overshadowed the album, but the album is fire.
It did. I tell you, when I get a spot of my own, I'm gonna frame that book and shit. Just for fuck's sake.
Which part?
No, just the cover.
No, is it the cover? Oh,
I'm gonna frame the whole book and shit. You said
shit.
I would say Corrupt has a shaky discography. I definitely agree with you on that.
Corrupt and Dog Pound, both of them.
Corrupt, Dog Pound, yep. Even Daz has
Yeah,
a shaky discography and
both
shit.
of them.
But
All three of them.
cause I'm not gonna hold you. Corruption, I did not like Corruption at all.
Yeah, it
I did
wasn't
not
great.
like Corruption. I felt like if he would just drop the West Coast side, it would have probably been fairly solid. But him doing the East Coast, I feel like the East Coast side kind of lowered the quality of the album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Streets is the Mother. That to me is his. I feel like that's his magnum opus, which everyone would agree with. You know what I'm saying? I do admit it was a bit too long in some parts, though. But
yeah,
you know, Space Boogie, that was okay. I kind of felt like he was trying to do a bit mainstream on that one too. You know what I'm saying? But everything after Space Boogie, I was not a fan of like that. Minus the collab album with Quick, though. I like the collab album with Quick.
That was dope. Blackout.
Yeah. Now, as for Jazz, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Now I was saying, I have the Against the Grain album, but a lot of the songs sound dated on that shit.
Yeah, that was when he was back on Death Row with that one, right?
Yeah.
Horrible move. Horrible.
Yeah.
But what I was saying was as for Daz, I'm gonna be real. I've only heard Retaliation, Revenge, and Get Back in full, which I feel like is a lost Death Row classic. If you ask me, I feel like that's an album that never got its due.
I agree.
I've heard bits and pieces from his other discography, but I was not really a big fan of, to be real with you. Like I said, because I don't know, his production was still good. Don't get me wrong, but I was just not a big fan.
Right. Yeah, that's his best album as a solo artist.
Right. I feel like if that album would have came out maybe like in early 97, it might have felt a bit better. Because no, that was distributed by Priority Records, because you know Interscope they dropped Death Row Records, shit like that too. So that part. But other than that, I'm gonna end this off right here because it's 10 o'clock and I'm about to get ready for work in the morning because I gotta be up at least by 6. But this was a dope ass video we've done tonight. You know what I'm saying? So tomorrow at midnight. Wait, did I say? Hold on, let me see what time I said. But I know tomorrow we're gonna kick off our beanie Wednesday and shit like that too. Beanie Wednesday, and we're gonna actually start off with Beanie Siegel's first album, which is The Reason and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? Which really can't wait to talk about that record right there. Yeah, tomorrow at 11 p.m. Okay, tomorrow at 11 p.m. Oh, excuse me, The Truth. That's his first album, The Truth. I fucked up. Yeah, that's his first album. So we're gonna kick that out. So it's gonna be every Wednesday and whatnot too. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna give salute to one of the best to come out from the Rockefeller camp and whatnot too. You know what I'm saying? So really can't wait to talk about that one. Also, this upcoming Friday at midnight, we're gonna do a double review on Albie Sher's two albums, Private Times and Sexy Verses. It's been years since I've heard both albums in full and whatnot too. I know I'm not gonna like Private Times and shit like that. I know I'm not gonna like that album.
I
That
didn't
was
like it, so
yeah. Sexy Verses, that's an album I definitely love more. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So yeah, really can't wait to talk about those albums and shit too, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, and got some shit coming up. Got some shit coming up. You know, next week we're gonna have two movie reviews for next
Mhm.
week, which is gonna be Mia Culpa, which is the Kelly Rowland movie. And we're gonna also talk about Purple Rain and whatnot too. So we're definitely gonna be a very, very, very dope movie review next week. I might think about doing both the same day and shit like that too, but I'm not 100% sure yet. I just gotta see my work schedule and see Ashley's availability. But anything you have to say before we head out?
Look out for the mixtape reviews we do on my channel. And the only
Yeah.
classic shit we doing though. I ain't doing just anybody's mixtape and mm-mm.
All
Only
right, we ain't
classic
gonna
shit. Whether it's from
no
Lil Wayne or G Unit, Dipset, whoever, but it's gonna be some classic shit.
yeah, we ain't gonna do no random SoundCloud
Yeah,
mixtapes and shit
nah.
like that. This is some grown man shit we gotta do.
Yep.
Some grown man mix. That's what we call grown man mixtapes or some shit.
Or
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is definitely gonna be very fun. Be on the
yep,
lookout for that shit. And
yep.
as usual, hope y'all have a very good night. Appreciate this try as usual. Make sure y'all
All right.
subscribe, like, make sure y'all share this. I hope y'all be safe. Peace.
Peace.